Lord Abzu. Halfway into their journey to Venice, the depth charger's engines cut out. What's happening? Ambra grabbed onto the back of Quill's chair and the navigation desk as if to steady herself, though the vessel had lost forward momentum quickly and was barely moving. With the depth charger's engines shut down, the sudden silence was loud. Quill was rapidly flicking through the screens on the navigation dashboard, which offered a 360-degree view of what was in range of the vessel. He stopped at one of the images, which showed a presence 4 times as large as the depth charger, moving slowly and carefully towards them. It was a dark grey hulk of a ship, which had neither the beauty nor grace of the depth charger. Along the side of the ship was painted a large silver trident and the name Neptune's Revenge in silver script. "Oh no," groaned Quill, closing his eyes. He craned his neck out of the navigation room window. "What? Are we about to be attacked?" asked Jevon, his gaze following Quill's. "No. It's Lord Abzu. He's remotely disabled our vessel. Abzu is a sort of Nautilin equivalent of a Terran sheriff, but he's very much a law unto himself. And he is what you could best call a little bit mad. He was banished from Nautila by Nefaria because of his unpredictable behaviour, largely as a result of some unorthodox experiments he was conducting on his own mind, and he's now a mercenary for whoever hires his services." There was a painful grating noise, metal on metal, followed by the sound of an airlock opening. Quill's shoulders drooped. "Ah. He has rendezvoused with our vessel, docked, and is about to board. Whatever he says or does, just play along with it as much as you can, and let me do the talking. We don't want to—" "Quill!" bellowed a nerve-shredding voice. Quill flinched as the larger-than-life figure of Lord Abzu strode into the cabin. At 7 feet tall, with long curly black hair, covered in body armour of blue and green scales, and clanking with various kinds of weapons, he was a formidable presence. To Ambra's mind, he looked very much like the god of the sea his vessel was named after. The giant submariner swept up a reluctant Quill in a bear hug. "Hello, Lord Abzu," said Quill mildly, looking like a doll in the Nautilin's arms. "What are you doing in this part of the deep?" "The Terran TIA have got me doing some sea-floor reconnaissance. Lot easier for me than them," boomed Abzu, setting Quill down. "Reconnaissance? What are they looking for?" asked Quill. "Ooh, any unusual activity. The brief was vague, to say the least. Seems there's some funny stuff going on with plate activity, and the Japanese, as you can imagine, are a bit toey." "Plate activity?" queried Ambra. "As in tectonic plates," explained Quill. Ambra pressed her lips together and decided not to ask any more questions. Abzu's gaze turned to Ambra and Jevon. "Who do we have here?" "2 of our Terran friends," said Quill. "Aha! Exactly what I need." Ambra and Jevon exchanged glances. "No, you don't," said Quill firmly, without even bothering to inquire into Abzu's need. "We are on our way to Venice for urgent reasons." Abzu either didn't hear Quill or ignored him. "Another client of mine's running experiments on Terrans, and I told him I'd design one. I got to test it before I go to him with it. And by Neptune, down here it's hard for me to source Terrans for such purposes." "What do you mean experiments?" Quill asked. "The ones to save Terrans from themselves, to break and rewire their neurological patterns." Whatever that meant, Ambra didn't like the sound of it. "Lord Abzu, I must insist that you allow us to continue on our journey," said Quill. Abzu was prowling around the cabin, closely examining the Lightstone siblings. "This one will do nicely," he said as he gripped Jevon's shoulders. "Jevon!" cried Ambra. "Lord Abzu, you will need to find another Terran for your experiment," said Quill. "Yes, you will," said Jevon, struggling to break free of Abzu's grasp and failing. "I'll do you a deal," said Abzu, a glint in his eye. "If he can beat the game I've designed, then I can tell the Terrans it works, and you'll get him back. If not, well, He'll have to stay with me for a while, and I'll let the both of you go on your way. Win-win." "What win-win? For whom?" "If he succeeds, presumably your client will pay you handsomely. If he doesn't, you get to keep him as one of your lab rats and refine your experiment. What sort of a deal is that?" said Quill. "What game?" said Jevon, whose eyes had lit up. "It's an immersion simulation. The game occurs in your mind," said Abzu. "What type of simulation?" pressed Jevon. "Ah, well, I can't tell you that. It would preempt how you play it, and mess up the experiment." Quill sighed. Ambra felt the pit of her stomach sinking at Quill's resignation. This was going to have to play out according to the rules of Lord Absu.